Corie Locke, Special Projects Editor with Xconomy, and I'm here today with Lita Nelson, who recently retired from MIT's Technology Licensing Office. Hi Lita, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit about what you did when you were at MIT in the Technology Licensing Office?
Well, what the office does is it takes the inventions that come out of MIT's research, and the idea is to protect it with intellectual property, mostly patents, so that if someone will take a company or a startup, will take the risk on this very early stage technology to try to bring it to market, the patent will protect them when they succeed, so that they will have some degree of exclusivity in the market.
So during your more than 30 years with the office, you certainly helped to broker a lot of agreements and deals between MIT and technology companies and startups.
Absolutely. Hundreds and hundreds.
Oh, wow. So you had certainly quite a role to play in the growth of technology and life sciences in Boston and beyond.
A great many biotech startups started in MIT's labs and therefore in the TLO. So we're very proud when we walk down the street and say, I was involved in that one and I was involved in that one. Mm-hmm. And we really celebrate when a product gets into the clinic.
So now that you're retired, you're also doing some consulting for clients around the world on technology licensing and transfer issues. I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about what are the kind of major challenges you see facing universities that are trying to commercialize their research?
Well, the major challenge, the absolute bottom line, is that the technology is very early. It worked in the lab and maybe in a mouse, but it's going to take years, and if it's devices, tens of millions of dollars. If it's a pharmaceutical, hundreds of millions of dollars. So the major challenge is finding companies or investors who are willing to take that risk and can raise the capital.
And so do you see kind of a gap in the funding spectrum for early stage technology
That's
research?
the tough idea. The gap is there. The government, at least in this country, only really takes it as far as a scientific publication. That's about when federal funding stops. Large companies, pharmaceutical companies, want things that are at least ready for clinical testing. And so between A and B is a very long gap. And that's the primary challenge. The second challenge, as I go around the world, is to explain to university chancellors or investors that technology licensing offices don't make money on the average, and that they perform a tremendous service to the community, but only a dozen at any given time out of the hundreds in the US are making money, and it's not always the same ones. So from a business point of view, it's more like a lottery. But from the impact on the local economy, startup companies, and getting things to market, it's a very important thing.
And do you see kind of changes or proposed changes to the patent system that you think might, how might that impact universities' ability
the US
to commercialize?
has been in almost a battle between industries that are not particularly interested in patents and mostly want freedom of action, and industries where, because of the level of investment, be it in pharmaceuticals or in new energy or whatever, are going to take a great deal of money over a long period of time, and without patents, no one will make the investment. So the most recent changes in patent law, I think maybe almost cynically named Patent Reform Act, have weakened the ability of small companies and universities to defend their patents. And if that keeps going, and there was a possibility of another round of legislation, tech transfer as we know it couldn't happen.
I wanted to switch topics a little bit and ask you about the rise of biotech in Boston. What do you think has been the secret of that success in Boston, and particularly in Kendall Square?
Well, everything has to have a beginning, and the beginning is science. And so it was the concentration of research in biotechnology or in biology that at MIT, at Harvard, at the research hospitals here, coupled with their ability to raise billions of dollars of federal funding, the NIH. Without that, the biotechnology industry would never get going, because it wouldn't have the scientific basis and the intellectual property to start it. So I think that's the key. Good science, well funded by the federal government, may it continue. But you couple that also with a density of research institutions so that everybody knows everybody. It also, although people don't remember this, but the birth of science and technology-based venture capital was in Boston. And it mostly, at the beginning, centered around the computer industry, but even before that. And when I graduated from MIT, we all joined our professors' little startup companies, and that was before there was technology licensing going on. So that to some extent, there was an acceptance, even an admiration of taking risks on crazy little companies based on research. So that's a key part of it. Secondly, it's the density. We can all walk to each other. MIT and Mass General can collaborate in 10 minutes if they ever fix the Longfellow Bridge. And that density helps a lot too.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Lita, for coming in and sharing your insights.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you.